Hello, everyone. I'm Christina from Project Inner Leadership, and I'm so happy you are here with me today. I am going to talk about one of my most favorite topics, which is manifestation. Yes, manifestation is such a beautiful topic and so helpful in this life to create the life that you desire. And I would like to talk about why manifestation doesn't work for so many people. Because in my past, I tried everything I could find about manifestation, and I thought something is wrong with me or I'm just too weak because I couldn't create the life that I wanted. So I had to change something, and I would like to share with you what I changed in order that manifestation worked for me and how I was then able to create the life that I really desired. So, if you are also one of these people that tried out everything, that tried out hundreds of manifestation techniques, you wake up in the morning, you visualize, you meditate every single day, you try during the day to think positively, and still you feel stuck, still you don't have the results that you want to have, then maybe this podcast episode will help you. And I would recommend you to listen to it from the beginning until the end. I try to keep it short, but I truly believe that this is the key, the missing key of really manifesting like a pro. So then I would say, let's get started. In my experience, manifestation only truly works when you begin to understand who you really are. And that doesn't just mean the light inside of you. By that, I mean not only the positive sides or those sides that you feel they are positive, it also means the shadows inside of you. So, those sides that you don't really like and that you would rather like to suppress, yes, also these shadows. It's not enough to focus only on the person you want to become or the life you want to create. Real transformation and real manifestation starts when you are willing to look deeper, also into the parts of yourself you might have been avoiding. Because the truth is, we are both light and the shadow, because the light can only exist when the shadow exists. There was a time in my life where I was completely out of balance. You could call it burnout, anxiety, or maybe even depression. I had so many different symptoms, but what mattered most was I didn't feel good. Not at all. Every area of my life felt completely off. Then I discovered manifestation, and I remember thinking, wow, this sounds so incredible. This sounds super easy. So I decided I would simply manifest myself out of the situation I was in at that moment. I sat down, I visualized the life I wanted, I focused on the version of myself I wanted to become. I used positive affirmations, I meditated every morning. I tried to feel the reality I desired. But what I was really doing, and that's what I realized later on, I was trying to escape the situation I was in that moment. I tried to manifest away everything that was going on the outside in my life, but at the same time on the inside of me, because your outside anyways is just a reflection of what's going on inside of you. So I was trying to manifest away everything that was going on inside of me, and primarily the shadows inside of me. And in the beginning, surprisingly, that really worked. I manifested things, I felt better, I created results very quickly. So the idea of manifesting myself out of certain situations actually worked. But there was something I didn't understand at that time. And that was, what you suppress doesn't disappear. it comes back to you. And if you keep pushing it away, it comes back stronger, louder, more intense until it eventually stops you completely. And that's exactly what happened to me. I used manifestation and meditation and all these manifestation techniques as a way to avoid what I was truly feeling. I created this positive bubble for myself, but the moment something triggered me, I would fall out of this bubble completely and immediately. At first, I could bring myself back. I could bring myself back to this positive mode, but over time, those triggers became stronger, longer, and more persistent. Yeah, because I tried to suppress something inside of me. So the triggers from the outside, they just become louder and they become more and more intense. Yeah, because they actually want you to look deeper inside of you and see what's going on there. So eventually I reached a point where I couldn't get back to my positive mode. I couldn't get back to this positive bubble where I was actually so trained. I was already so good in it, good in suppressing the negative inside of me and only focusing on the positive and on those things that I really wanted to manifest. I couldn't get back to this bubble anymore. I couldn't get back to this world until I found myself in a constant inner battle. It was fighting parts of myself. It was literally fighting against myself. Every single day, waking up in the morning already, I started to fight against me. I started to fight against those feelings that were forbidden in manifestation, because in the manifestation world, you should never feel something negative because that would probably attract those things that you don't want. So I tried to suppress them, and this suppressing took so much energy from me. And I see it with so many people. They learn that they shouldn't feel the negative emotions. They shouldn't think negative thoughts. They should always stay in this high vibe. But the more they fight those feelings, the stronger they become. And that's why they lose the ability to manifest what they really want. Not because they feel the negative emotion or they think negatively, they lose the ability to manifest because all their focus just goes on fighting those emotions, on fighting their mind, on fighting their thoughts, trying and forcing to be in this high vibration 24 hours a day. And that's why I believe so many people get stuck in this cycle. That doesn't mean manifestation doesn't work, not at all. Manifestation works perfectly. But if you do it correctly, it doesn't work when you try to use it as a way to run away from yourself. Manifestation only works when you are willing to face yourself first. You know who you truly are with the lights inside of you as well the shadows inside of you. When you are willing to do the inner work, to really see who you are, because manifestation is a long-term process. It's not something, oh, you sit down, you think about something, and boom, next day you have it. Yes, that can also happen at a certain stage, but in general, manifestation is a long-term process. And that includes you are doing also your inner work, because manifestation also works if you are also willing to change yourself from the inside. And change does not happen by manifesting something away that is inside of you. It doesn't mean to suppress feelings that are inside of you. It only works when you look inside of you deeply and you face it and you work with it and let it go. For me, that meant facing a lot. Old wounds, unprocessed emotions, sadness, guilt, fear. There was an inner child inside of me that simply wanted to be seen, and I just ignored it for so many years because I didn't learn it any other way. I tried to cover everything with affirmation, with positive affirmations and meditation and positive thinking because I thought that was the right way. I believe that if I felt sad, I would attract more sadness. If I felt fear, I would attract those things that I'm afraid of. But now I see it completely differently. In fact, I believe this is exactly why so many people end up manifesting what they are afraid of, because they are constantly fighting it. They're fighting the fear, and what you fight is what you focus on. The real shift happens when you stop resisting, when you allow yourself to see what is actually there, when you accept what you feel in this exact moment. If fear, for example, comes up, you just allow it. If sadness comes up and you feel it, then just cry if you want to. It's okay, because if you allow these feelings coming up, then something very beautiful happens. Once you stop resisting, it loses its power. And that's so incredible. Please try it out. Try it out. And you will see, once you stop resisting, once you stop this fight that takes so much energy to those things that you actually don't want, it loses its power. It becomes like a quiet presence besides you, like a small cat sitting next to you. Imagine it like a small cat sitting next to you. It doesn't harm you, it doesn't bother you. It's just sitting there. It's like your fear is just sitting there like a cat. Your sadness is sitting there like a cat. You can feel it, yes, but it's not blocking you anymore. It's not blocking your manifestation anymore. It's not blocking your life anymore. It's just there, and it doesn't control you anymore. It doesn't take over your entire day, your focus, your energy. It simply exists, and then it passes. Think about building a business. Of course, there is fear. Maybe you have financial pressure, you have to support your family, or maybe you're afraid of being judged. That fear is human, and you are not here to suppress your humanity. You are here to experience it. Especially in these times, people are becoming more and more sensitive and more aware. And it doesn't make sense to say, I'm only allowed to feel positive emotions. Because the truth is, one day we will all return to peace and love, anyways, when we die. But we came here to feel everything, the comfortable as well as the uncomfortable. So instead of fighting your fear, walk with it, hold its hand, move forward anyway. And that is real manifestation. Because when you accept what is inside of you, it no longer blocks you, as I've already mentioned. It actually, what it does is creating the space for the life you want, the space for the new energy, the space for clarity and creation. When you suppress emotions, you block energy. And when energy is blocked, there is no room left for what you actually desire. So the key to a correct manifestation is allow your feelings, feel them, and let them move through you. And then manifestation begins to flow again. I speak about this a lot, also in my other podcast episodes, because it truly changed my life. It truly changed everything for me. And honestly, no one tells you this in a manifestation world. I invested almost 50,000 euros into coachings and programs trying to figure out what was wrong with me, why I suddenly couldn't manifest anymore, why I felt like I had fallen out of something I was once so good at. I went from feeling like a creator to feeling like a victim, but nothing was wrong with me in the first place. It was simply that nobody told me that I have to allow the feelings they are inside of me. I have to allow my trauma coming up. I have to allow my inner child wants to be seen. I was simply ignoring a part of myself that needed attention. Many, many years of fighting myself, of fighting those things that I didn't want, because I thought if I think about them, or if I feel the feeling of it, will create my reality of sadness, of fear, and whatever I was fighting. Yeah, I'm sure you know the law of attraction. Keep in mind, just feeling your emotions, just overcoming your traumas in a sense of seeing them, of working with them, doesn't mean you attract them. Feeling a feeling that wants to be seen inside of you doesn't attract a life full of this feeling. No, you shouldn't think like that. That's the problem with most people. You only attract the negativity once you constantly focus on it. Once your attitude towards your life is already negative, and your attitude becomes negative when you constantly fight against you, a fight against what's inside of you, because that constantly creates the focus on it. And that's actually so simple, but for me, it took me many years to understand this. This is also the case with you, that you are struggling with manifestation for such a long time. Then just keep in mind, nothing is wrong with you. Even your negative thoughts are not a problem. Your mind, your ego, your brain, they are not your enemy. They are here to protect you. So worries, worries are superhuman. Your ego is here, your mind is here to worry because of the protection. They are part of your human experience. Your brain is designed to predict, to keep you safe. You cannot and should not try to switch it off. I hear so many people, they say on the internet, I switched off my ego, my ego died, and now I'm free of my ego. I don't have any negative thoughts anymore. Honestly, if you see that, please don't believe that, because firstly, you cannot really switch off your ego. Maybe you can switch it off for some certain time, when you do meditation, for example. But in general, you cannot switch off your ego for your whole life, because that would mean also rejecting your humanity. Let your ego talk, let your mind talk, but keep in mind, they are not your reality. They are not saying the truth. So when your mind, for example, tells you you can't do this, you're not good enough, instead of fighting it and saying, leave me alone, you're stupid, you're not telling me what I really want, just switch off. And you fight it. You fight it with certain techniques, like going under cold shower, fasting for a few days because you don't want to feel yourself. Of course, these are all techniques that they can help, but they don't solve the cause of the issue. So instead of fighting it, say, thank you, mind. Thank you for trying to protect me. I know you only mean it good with me, but it's not my truth. I appreciate you, but it's not my reality. And believe me, when you do that, something shifts. Like, you welcome your mind with love, because the thought and your mind lose their power. The feeling softens and it passes, and your mind stops. Your mind returns to the positive thinking. You don't have to fight yourself anymore. You don't have to be perfect. You are allowed to be human. And here's the truth: feeling what is inside of you does not destroy your manifestation. It is what makes it possible in the first place. So allow your feelings, let them travel through your body, see them, work with them, let them sit next to you like a cat, and then they make space. And once they leave, and I promise you they will leave, then you have the space again for the real manifestation and for those things that you really want to manifest. If this episode resonated with you, I invite you to take a moment. Not to do more, not to fix anything, but simply to notice what moved inside of you. Growth does not start with doing, it starts with awareness. If you enjoyed this conversation, make sure to follow the podcast so you don't miss the next episode. And if you feel called to, share it with another woman who is building or becoming. Because we don't need to hustle harder, we don't need to silence our emotions. We simply need to lead ourselves differently. Thank you for being here, thank you for doing this work, and remember, the way you lead yourself determines what you build. I'll see you in the next episode.